Morning guys, okay, so it's me, Gordon from G-Dub Campers. I've got the top on, just a little bit of... Boo! I've got this little cutout. I've got a badgeless grill, so I need to cover that up. It comes with this little black bit here, and so I've got some Tiger Seal just from Halfords. This stuff will stick anything to anything pretty much, and so I'm just going to run some of that around the edge. Okay, so I've given the van a bit of a wash, and as you can see, I've taken an angle grinder to all of the rust, which is a bit of a thing, and so this is looking really good. I'm going to obviously tidy this up, put a little bit of rust treatment on there, and then primer it. But Luke Brabants is obviously going to be doing the spray work on here, and I wanted to make sure as best as I can I've given him a good base to work from. There was a load of filler in here and this had cracked, so I've just dug it out. I'm going to fill that with a little bit of filler down the door, basically all the way along here. I've done the same. If I could open that door, I could show you that, but yeah, just lots of bits to spray. It's looking quite nice and tidy, really. Put this on there, so I just need to fill that little bit in there, so that'll be nice and good. And then down on this back arch, this is where the bulk of it's at. It's on this arch here, taking that right back to the metal. And then this arch as well, just so you can see I've taken that right back. So yeah, job's a good one. There was a big dent in the back door that I've done, so that's going to need a bit of filling. What I've done, I've sanded them down, got some white spirits, and I've wiped that down, get all the dust off and everything. Now there's lots of different rust treatments you can get. I got this one from Halfords, it's called Cure Rust. I'm not on commission or anything, you don't have to get this one. There's another one that's really good that's called Vactan. You have to go on the internet to find that one. But you basically, I put it in like a little Chinese takeaway pot, all nice and clean, obviously, no food left in it. And then basically you just get it and you just paint it on here, and then any rusty bits, as you can see there, they start to turn black. And so I've just gone round, like you can see here, I've done all the way along the van. There's lots of different bits. I've done the other side as well, and then what I'm going to do, just check that out, make sure it's all gone black. I can paint over this in about 3 hours. So what you're meant to do is, if it's not gone black, then you just go back over the top of it again in an hour, wait for this to dry, spray over the top of it with some primer. It's not going to be a perfect job, but it's better than basically letting Luke Brabants spray straight over the rust. So I've done the bulk of it, and hopefully that'll hold it off for a little while longer anyway, for a few years. So there we go. On to the next bit. The next job is to do some repairs on this bumper, which you can see just behind me, just down there. I'll go in for a little close-up. As you can see, this bumper has seen better days. It's had a few whacks, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a really good wash. I'm going to sand it down, and then I'm going to do some repair on here. I'm going to put a bit of mesh in behind it, put some epoxy resin over it to stick it, and then we got some repair stuff that we're going to use to fill it and hopefully get it looking half decent. So I've given the bumper a bit of a clean, and so the next thing I'm going to do, I've just got myself a bit of aluminium oxide paper. I'm just going to go all the way around here. I'm going to rough all of this up. I'm going to go over some of this paintwork as well. So the next bit I'm going to work on is the bumper. Now you can see, if I just get right in here, this bumper, like the bottom skirt, like basically isn't attached. So what I'm going to do is get some, if you can see that there, I'm going to get some Sikaflex and just seal that under there and bond that on. That shouldn't take too long. Excuse the glare. God, it's really bright out here today. It's a lovely day. You wouldn't think it was winter. And then the other side, just here as well, you can see along there. So again, I'm just going all the way along there, up in there, stick some Sikaflex, and then just grip those together, and that should sort that. I've done all of that. I've Sikaflexed that, or whatever the stuff's called, Tiger Seal, all the way along there. And then what I've done, once I put it on there, it wasn't as neat as this. I just got some white spirits on a cloth and just wiped around the outside, and then that way you get a really nice neat little line, little join. Little tip for you there, little tip, don't pour so much on though that it weakens the bond, because obviously that's not then a good tip, is it? So I've done this side. The only thing, I haven't actually got any clamps, so I've had to use my wife's clothes pegs, which aren't very strong, but it's just about holding it together, so that'll be fine. That should dry within about an hour, so that's good. And then round on the other side, exactly the same. You can see that line just along there. So there we go. On to the next bit. Okay, the next bit I need to do is have a little go at trying to fix this nasty fiberglass crack. Now I've got some mesh which I'm probably going to stick under here, and then I'm just going to plod this up as much as I can. There's no way I'm going to be able to make that look neat. I've only got this afternoon to do it. I'm going to dig all of this out so there's not so much of it. I'm going to run through with you quickly kind of how I'm repairing it. So there's a few little bits that you're going to need. The first thing is some of this mesh. I got all of this stuff from Halfords. It's not the cheapest of places. So it's not the cheapest of places, but they've got it all there and you can get it all in one hit. So there's this mesh. I got some Araldite epoxy resin. Now if you can, you want to get the extra strong one. This isn't the extra strong one, it's all that they had, and so I've got that. This is really great because you just mix it, eject it out. It's got the two parts, the hardener and the other bit, and then you just mix it up for about 20 seconds and then paste it on. And then really the other sort of bits you need is a knife and a bit of some sandpaper as well. And so what I've done, I've got the bumper off. You can see here the big crack. So what I've done, I've got a screwdriver and a few bits, and I've just dug out a nice gouge so that there's a nice clean surface around it. I've sanded around the edge a little bit, and then what I've done, I've already started where this was completely split. I got some of that mesh, and what I've done, I've basically stuck it on the underside, cut it to the size of the gap there, and then I've basically got some of that epoxy resin and stuck the mesh on the underside, put as much on as I can, and then left it for about 20 minutes so that it would set. And then what you can see here, this is actually the epoxy resin that's seeped through. So then you just get some more epoxy resin and stick it through there, and then also some on the other side, and this was completely split off. If you look at that now, that's absolutely solid, which is great. And so what I've done, I've just taken a bit of rough sandpaper and sanded it down, and so that's quite a strong join there. The other thing that I've got is some bumper filler, basically, rather than fiberglass, some bumper filler, and I'm just going to fill in these little gaps here. I've dug a gouge out there just so I've got a bit of enough space to be able to get in there. This is going to sit a little bit proud, but I should be able to sort that out. And so I'll just fill that in with the bumper filler, sand that down, get it as smooth as I can, and that's basically it. Very, very straightforward, quick. Go over that with some fine sandpaper, get it as smooth as possible, and then hopefully Mr. Brabants will be able to spray over that without too much bother. It's not going to be perfect, but it's the best I can do in the short time that I've got. So the next bit, I've got some of this bumper treatment stuff, which looks like it should do the job. So what I've done, I've mixed it up, just in a real rush, so not been out of video me pasting it on like I normally would. But you can see there that I've just literally slapped that on generously. So that's on all the way over there. You can see that all over the bumper, all in those bits down there. And so yeah, the aim with that is to have it so it's sitting a little bit proud of the top. I'll give it about 20 minutes and then just a very light sandpaper. So there we go guys, a little bit of sanding later and that is looking lovely. Not perfect, but I'm happy with it once I've washed it and given it a little bit of a spray with some plastic primer, or the bumper primer. Yeah, you wouldn't notice it unless you were looking for it, so pretty pleased with that. I'm a bit pushed for time getting it all ready and back together to take it out on Monday. But yeah, so that's basically the bumper repair almost done. Lots of hard graft gone in this week. You can't really see it very clearly on here, but I've done loads and loads of bodywork, sorted out all the rust around the arches, sorted out some of the stuff on the front bumper, loads of little nicks and things on here. I had a big dent on the door just here, which I've filled in as best as I can. All the sliding door stuff like that on the back here I've filled in. Again, there was another massive dent just there, and sanded down all the bumpers, and then the same on this side. I don't know if you can see, but loads of sanding down. So yeah, lots and lots of hard work all ready for Mr. Luke Brabants to do his magic. That it's no longer going to be a white van, it's going to be something else. And so tomorrow we go on a road trip. So yeah, new front headlights are on, and the grille. I've filled in the there, so I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that's a completely smoothed off, so filled in that gap there, so feeling quite happy.